St. Francis. This is Neil Keaty reporting from Pasadena Tournament of Roses house, where they've just finished setting up for the 2008 Rose Court announcement. Earlier I spoke to C.L. Keaty, the president of the Tournament of Roses, about the process. Who selects the Royal Court?
The Tournament of Roses has 32 separate committees. One of those committees is the Queen and Court Committee, and they are responsible for selecting the Royal Court every year through a series of interviews of the local girls that come out and try out.
What does your job entail?
As president of the Tournament of Roses, I have several responsibilities. One, of course, was to select a theme, which I did this year. It was Passport to the World Celebrations. I have the privilege of selecting the Grand Marshal for that theme, and this year's Grand Marshal is Emeril Lagasse, the world-renowned chef that fits in with the whole concept of world celebrations. And then I have the privilege of traveling around the country and the world to visit the bands that we have invited to participate in the 2008 parade. And this year I had the fun of going to Switzerland, El Salvador, Japan, and Canada, as well as visiting many of the states in the United States.
How many girls try out for the court?
Well, I can't tell you exactly how many girls there were this year, but I do know there were over 1,100 people. And I say people because there were some boys that also tried out with the girls. Most of the 1,100 were young ladies from the schools of Pasadena, but there were a few boys that tried out as well.
What happens after the initial interview process?
After the initial interview, they actually go through another series of interviews. It takes 3 more sets of interviews, and each interview process gets progressively longer for them, for each contestant, in a series of questions until the final round, in which they are asked a question and more interview questions from the committee.
What is the Royal Ball?
The Royal Ball is, I think, seen as a little added benefit that anyone who tries out for the Royal Court has. They receive a ticket for they and a guest to participate, and it is a dance that's put on and hosted by the Tournament of Roses at the Civic Center, and with I believe a DJ. And I think this year they had over 1,700 people show up for that ball.
Are there any specific requirements?
The only requirements that I'm aware of is that they must be no older than 21 by January 2nd. They must be over 17 by December 1st. They must have a 2.0 grade point average or better, and they must live and attend a school within the Pasadena City College district. So those are the only requirements that I'm aware of.
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity, and we all look forward to seeing the parade on January 1st.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to talking to you and K-Night, and it's been my pleasure. Thank you.
We were lucky enough to have a camera on site at the court announcement to capture this momentous event.
Good morning. I'm Lance Tibbett, Chairman of the Queen and Court Committee, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Tournament House this morning for the announcement of the 2008 Royal Court. Ladies, thank you all for your outstanding efforts and your participation. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please join me in recognizing the Royal Court finalists for the 2008 Tournament of Roses.
Ladies and gentlemen, as president of the 119th Tournament of Roses, it is my pleasure to present to you our 2008 Royal Court.
Thank you for coming to the Royal Court announcement.